Hey everybody, welcome to another DeLorean Tech Bring a Trailer live stream, and this is going to be part one in our two-part live stream series discussing whether or not the prices of DeLoreans are beginning to drop from what look like all-time highs close to about $100,000. This one right here for our part one, this is a time machine, so definitely not the norm, but I figured it was worth a look anyway. So this time machine has got about 35 minutes left, and it is sitting here at 65,000, which for a time machine, if you remember where we were previously, and the past several time machines took over, I believe, $150,000, and we'll take a look at that in a minute here. But this time machine, this is an 81 time machine. It's an early VIN. It's got the gas flap hood. Looks like it's being sold out of Canada, which, you know, if you were maybe a U.S. bidder, that might be a concern as far as, you know, shipping costs. But the shipping on this, I was reading some of the comments down below, the shipping on this is going to be covered. So that's a pretty good deal. So no matter where you're at, I think in the States at least, they will cover the shipping 100%. All you pay is the final price for the time machine. So it looks pretty clean. I couldn't identify the builder in our last live stream, but since then I did a little bit of research. I think in some of the comments for either this video or the last live stream, I think someone pointed out that it was a self-build. And looking at the photos, it actually looks pretty good. I mean, I'm not a time machine expert, but I know a good time machine from a not so good time machine when I see one. And this actually looks pretty decent. A lot of the props that they've added look pretty clean. It looks like they sourced their props from reputable builders, prop builders. And we'll go through some of the photos here. And I want to say, oh, look at this. We got a video. I don't want to get copyrighted on this. Let's just see here.
This is how you do it. To start the car, you don't put your foot on the gas. This is mechanical fuel injection. Do not put your foot on the gas.
It's got a pretty lengthy video here that is kind of going through the instructions. This is a rather long video. It's about half an hour long, so I'm not going to go through it right now. But that's actually kind of a cool bonus. But does he include driving videos? That's really the key here. I mean, this is kind of cool seeing, this is instruction video for the DeLorean. Looks like he kind of starts off with how to start the car up. But I'm not seeing any driving videos here. So I don't know how well the car drives. If it's a running car, it looks like it might be, but you can't make assumptions. So let's go back to the photos here real quick so we can kind of take a look at this. And so it looks okay. I mean, for a time machine, the body looks in pretty good shape. The DeLorean part of it, right? I think the lighting, I think the choice of where they took the photos, that could have been a little better, but it is what it is. I mean, it looks okay as far as time machines go. It doesn't look out of the ordinary, and I've seen my fair share of time machines where I can kind of point out, you know, where things might not be so screen accurate. Although I do admit I'm not the expert on screen accuracy when it comes to this. Obviously, I've seen the movie many times, but, you know, I just haven't spent the time to determine what's screen accurate, what isn't. But just looking at the DeLorean aspects, the car looks pretty nice. He gets into some detailed photos here of the props. So you got the flux bands that are on the car. Those look pretty good. I'm assuming he drilled into the stainless, so this is not one of those non-invasive conversions that you might see here and there. The thing is, if you're after a time machine, that really shouldn't matter, especially if you want to drive around with the props on it, right? You really need to drill into the car. It's unfortunate, but there really isn't much else you can do, just so you're not going to lose your parts flying down the freeway, right? So everything looks pretty clean as far as the prop work goes. I didn't notice anything out of the ordinary here. Again, I can't speak for screen accuracy, but everything seems to be in order, and it seems to be pretty clean as well. I've seen a lot of time machines where you can tell that they've been out there collecting dirt on the road. It is what it is. Doc's time machine, it wasn't exactly the cleanest car in the world, but this looks pretty clean here. And you can see the photos here that the work either may have been recently completed, or they just kept it in really good condition, maybe kept it covered, maybe didn't use it a lot as far as time machines go. So a lot of the time machine owners, they rent their cars out for events and stuff. So you'll see time machines at various events. They make pretty good money. I know a couple time machine builders, or time machine owners rather, who've got their cars, and they do events. And it's a really popular thing to have a DeLorean time machine at your 80s event or what have you, right? So a lot of events get 80s themed, and one of the things that they tend to look for, at least the event planners, is DeLorean time machines, or even just a stock DeLorean would be good enough. Okay, there's your Mr. Fusion. That looks pretty cool. I don't know if that's screen accurate here, that sticker. I don't remember seeing that on the car, but again, I'm not an expert at this. I have a replica. Oh, looks like we went up a little bit here. So the car was sitting at like 65,000 or 66,000 for kind of a long time this morning. Hasn't gone up much, but I wanted to get through these photos here. Well, there's a scuff right here on the fascia. That's really the only thing I could see wrong here. He does have photos of the engine compartment. It doesn't look like a whole lot of upgrades were done to the engine compartment of the car. But, if you're looking for a time machine, this really isn't that bad. He did take photos of what I believe to be the builder of the time machine. There's like a label on the inside of the car. I think it was on the door sill or something like that. He had some photos of who did the work, and it might have been a local outfit. He's got photos here of the LEDs within the flux bands. And he's got that half-hour long video. So if you are interested in this car and you've seen that video, then you can at least make an informed decision on the time machine aspect of this car here, which in and of itself is, I think time machine builds are like 50,000 if you supply the DeLorean, something around there. Although it may be higher, it may be 75,000. I really don't know. I haven't been checking as far as like how much it's time machine builds are going for these days if you supply the DeLorean. If you don't supply the DeLorean, if you want, say, like Video Bob or Danny Botkin to make a time machine for you, they'll have to source the DeLorean. And as you know, DeLorean prices have been rising, but the question is, are they now starting to drop? So that last auction had a DeLorean go for about 70,000, and by all rights, it was a pretty clean car. I would have expected it to go somewhere in the 80s, but for 70,000, and there was hardly a bidding war towards the end there. It just kind of ended, and that was it, and it landed at 70,000, which, we had Chris Miles on the call, and I really want to get him on the call for this one as well, just to give his input, but I don't know if he's available right now. We'll see. But let's take a look at the last few photos here. So he's got a lot of the props that we've all come to expect. The speedo, he's got the clock, he's got the time circuits display. I don't know who made all of this. I didn't really spend any time watching that video. I've got the time circuits as well. Mine are pretty removable. They're just USB powered. I've got a flux capacitor from Danny Botkin. I've got the Speedo as well. Those come from Time Circuit on Facebook. He does a pretty good job making prop replicas, and it's all compatible with. They're all compatible with each other. So if you connect them all together, you can do all sorts of fun stuff. It's pretty neat. But anyway, he's got a lot of photos of this car, so I wanted to get to the photo where it showed who did the build, and it's like right here, Capit Customs. I'm not familiar with who that is, but if you are interested, I would imagine that you've already looked into that, maybe having seen these photos. But it looks like a pretty decent build. The electronics look pretty cleanly installed. Here's the engine compartment. Very original fuel lines. You still have the plastic overflow bottle there as well. It's an early VIN 81, so he probably added the de-icer plate here later on. He does live in Canada, so he might need that, right? Let's see what else. He's got an alarm siren here. Fairly original. The engine compartment looks pretty clean for an original car here. But, you know, I would definitely recommend doing some upgrades, especially if you plan on driving this thing around. Now, again, it's a time machine, so that's probably not going to be as common if you were to purchase a stock DeLorean with the idea that you want to drive it around. And, I keep seeing, like, yeah, the stock PRV, it's so terrible, right? And these are just paperweights. Really, they're not. I took my car out the other night and drove awesome stock PRV and still not having any problems. But, of course, I maintain the car, and that's what you need to do. The DeLorean's not a perfect car. I will say, I'll be the first one to say that it is a great car. I've had nothing but a good experience with my car since I bought it. Had 91,000 miles on it when I bought it, and I'm getting close to 100,000 on the car, so stay tuned for that video. I think I'm at like 99.6 or something like that, so I've been paying very close attention to my speedometer. Okay, so here's where the time machine conversion was done. It was done by Capit Customs out of Canada. So the artist is Hank Funk. So I don't know who that is. I honestly don't know if it's a reputable time machine conversion outfit, but it may very well be. And they got stickers on both sides of the car there. It's got some paperwork with the car as well, some instructions, and looks like some electronics, wiring, diagrams. So that's probably pretty helpful. And that's it as far as the photos go. And let's see where we're at on this. 66,666, and it ends in 22 minutes. So let's see what we got in the chat here. A lot of photos, which is always a good thing, but of course there are no driving videos. We really need a driving video. Let's see what the comments have to say here. A lot of comments. So I'm trying to see if we have comments from the seller here. That's what I'm always looking for, just to give us a little bit more insight on the car and why we don't have any. So here's where he announced free import to the USA and shipping to your front door if you win this auction. So that's a pretty nice bonus. I mean, I don't know how much it would cost to ship it from Canada, but it can't be pretty cheap to do that. Obviously overseas, and you're talking about a whole different animal there, but free shipping to the USA, to your front door if you win the auction. Says your bid without worrying about border logistics and costs associated with importing and transportation. We will take care of everything. So that's kind of a cool little bonus there, I think. If I were to bid on this, that would sort of ease my mind as far as how am I going to get this to my front door. If they're going to take care of everything and you're good, that's actually pretty cool. Let's see here. What else we have going on? If we have anything else from the seller here. I wonder if I should just post a comment, you know. So it's at 67,166 right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and ask for a driving video. I don't know if he can update the listing and just put one in there real quick, but that would have been very helpful. I mean, he's got the instruction video for basically the time machine aspect of it.
Your foot on the gas. You turn the ignition on and you wait for about 4 seconds because it builds up pressure. And then you start it. You'll notice that it started instantly. It usually starts instantly.
So he knows how to start up a DeLorean, but he doesn't show the car being started up, though. He just talks about it.
It's the latest technology there was in 1982. How do you get access to the engine? And I'll show you how to get access.
Oh, so he's showing how to get access to the engine here. This is good.
It's a wonderful way these guys engineered this particular movie piece of metal there, and you get access to the engine. It's a wonderful, and very rare. You have to actually.
I don't see a video of him starting the car up. So it kind of goes through the electronics here. I honestly didn't think this video was going to be that long, but it is what it is. And
that's a good one here. But within a matter of minutes, it'll come right back. One other thing, you better come to this side. You'll notice that we don't have. And that gives
so that whole video. Oh, he's got a rear view mirror dash cam, which is very key to the car. So this is very important, especially if you have a time machine, because you're blocking that rear window from rear visibility. So having this makes a huge difference. I've had that in my car for years now, and man, that was one of the best upgrades I ever did. I can tell you that right now. It just really is a night and day difference from having to look, you know, through those louvers, which, you know, especially at night, the reduced visibility was always kind of scary. I will kid you not. I was scared a few times after I had bought the car, started driving it at night. I was like, man, this really blows. So having that in the car, I really recommend that for safety purposes. I've got several videos on this actually that you can check out. So let's see where we're at. We're at 67,218, and our DeLorean price is dropping. So that's the question. And let's go back really quick here, and I'm gonna go off of full screen. And so here is the DeLorean website itself, DeLorean.com, and there's a couple cars on here that are listed with prices, and they're close to 100,000. So 99 and 98 for these two here. Here's one for 98. It's an 83 VIN 16915, and that one has 20,000 miles. It's a black gray manual transmission car. You know, it's got a lot of information here on what they did to it. But you can kind of get an idea of what DeLorean is asking for on their DeLoreans, and it's pushing 100,000. I've seen some go for over 100,000, or at least listed for over 100,000. I don't see those anymore, so maybe those have sold. I honestly don't know. This one here for 99. This is a lower mileage car, so it's only got 5,000 miles on it. It's an 81. So you know, I'm assuming these are their premium cars. Of course, I don't know. I don't know that for sure. So if you go back here to the overall listing, you can see some other cars that they have available too at some of their other locations. Those ones you will have to contact them directly. So they've got 3 cars at DMC Florida, and it looks like 3 cars at Midwest, 1 car at California, and an additional car here at Texas. That you will need to contact them. I would expect that, you know, depending on where those cars are at, quality wise or condition wise, the price would be somewhere between like 70 to 100,000. And I think they actually talk about on their website, you know, what sort of conditions that they offer their cars. So they have different cars at different levels, right? As is DeLorean. So if they've acquired a DeLorean and they have done nothing to it, it's being sold as is. They got daily driver, premium, live the dream again, and in museum quality. So I don't know if those 2 that are listed at 99 are in these last 2. They probably are. Honestly, don't know. Museum quality, I would imagine that means the car is in perfect condition. It's 100% clean. It's got, you know, new old stock parts. Maybe it's a Concours car. That would probably fetch you a lot more if you were to want something like that. But anyway, that's what DMC is asking for. If we go over here to bring a trailer, they actually have a chart here, a graph where you can see where the cars have sort of ended up. The last one sold for 70,000. That was just on the 8th, a few days ago. And I was kind of surprised that it only took 70,000. And that's why I'm asking the question, why are prices seemingly going down? Are they dropping? Was that just kind of an aberration? Really don't know. But if you look at this chart here and you kind of, you know, look at some of this stuff up in the, you know, in the 150 plus range. And these are time machines right here. Of course, you had Nick Reed's car, the twin turbo DeLorean. Those are outliers, obviously. You have the, I believe that's the Johnny Carson DeLorean for 110. Again, sort of an aberration. And that was actually closing in, yeah, that was back in early 2021. So that was quite a while ago, almost 2 years ago. And you have this one here, which sold in July for 106. But if that's a low mileage car, 569 mile DeLorean. So that obviously there's collector value there. For a low miles car. So that would explain why that sold for 106, quite a bit higher from the next one here, which is that turbocharged DeLorean that we had back in March of this year that took 88,888. But ever since then, you know, if you discount that 569 mile DeLorean, everything has been a little bit lower than that. You have a 7,000 mile DeLorean that sold for 79,000 in August. Just after that one, you had another one sell for 80 in August as well. It's an 82 right there. Before that, you had a couple DeLoreans selling in the 60s. That was in May and June. So they went up a little bit, and then they went back down again. Right? So what's going to happen with this time machine? So we're at 70,000. You've got 11 minutes to go. So I'm kind of surprised this has not broken 100,000. Yeah, $70,000 and 11 minutes to go on this time machine conversion. It's been 1349. It's got 23,000 miles on it. It's an automatic, which I think is more ideal for a time machine conversion than if you were to go with a manual transmission car. I've spoken to several time machine owners, and they actually prefer having the automatic in there. Mainly because, if they're at a show or something, it's just a lot easier to get around because you're driving very slow, very slowly. And on automatic, it's just easier to get around when you're talking about driving very slowly around a show area or something like that. It definitely comes in handy to have an automatic. You can sort of make the automatic shifter look like a manual shifter. And I want to say my good buddy Lenny Hochtile actually had that done in his car. It looks like a manual because his shifter has been converted to where it looks like a manual shifter. So it's a little bit more screen accurate, but it is in fact an automatic. And so that's something you can do. That's something that can be done. I don't know all the ins and outs, but I know Danny Botkin offers that service for automatic DeLorean time machine owners. So we're up to $71,000 right now. And I want to see if anyone responded to my request for a driving video. I mean, we really need to have that, right? Any driving videos? So the seller says, final minutes of the auction, I want to reassure bidders. This example is clean, mechanically sound, and everything functions as it should. Unfortunately, I do not have a driving video. However, it was always maintained and kept in a climate-controlled garage. Reminder, I'm also offering free... Well, I mean, that's great and everything, but without a driving video, how do you expect people to bid, to prices that we've seen the last couple time machines go for, which is over $150,000? It was maintained, which is, good to know. I didn't see any maintenance record photos. So I don't know. I mean, how hard is it to do a driving video? I mean, I do them all the time. I just do it for fun. If I happen to be out and about with my car, I'll just do a driving video just because it's fun to do. Just take out your phone and start rolling. So he's had the car up for a week and no driving video. So I don't know. That's a red flag to me, especially since they're really easy to get done. So I don't know if there's an excuse for that. I'm not going to bother replying. He already said his piece on that. He just doesn't have one. So take that as you will, and bid cautiously. Let's see what is reading some of these comments here. Oh, no, not that the seller is making a good effort here, since they are. The market for these cars is very small. And the prices this year have varied widely, so don't be surprised in any particular outcome. And regarding highway driving, it's not something really I'd recommend, apart from potential or loose props. The additional weight on the rear is very significant to an already heavy rear-biased car. Yeah, 70-30, right? Weight distribution on the car. If you want to cruise at 80 plus on the freeway, get an unmodified car. It'll do just fine. My car runs. Man, I wonder if that's Steve Rice. My car runs. It might be. I don't know. Anyway, he's right. There is some additional weight in the front of the car, but I don't think it was enough to offset the additional weight that you place on the back of the car with all the props. But, I know a lot of time machine owners out there that drive their car, on the highway, and they really don't have a problem, So we did the Carbon Canyon run the last time around, or was it the second year? I don't remember. We had a couple time machines join us, and they did all right, They did okay. I think this last go-around, I don't think we had the time machines. I think it was in year 2, and they did all right, and they drive fine. The car is, like I said, it's a good car. I don't think it's as bad as what people might think when you add all this extra stuff to the time machine for the time machine conversion. I don't know that it's as bad as you think. Bob Brandy is a good friend out of Las Vegas who does DeLorean Weekend, has a V8 conversion DeLorean time machine that he takes out on drives during DeLorean weekend. He never really seems to have any issues. There was this one time we did the Red Rock Canyon drive, and he actually had to pull out because the car was starting to overheat. So there's that. It does happen, but then it happens to stock DeLoreans as well. It just depends. But as far as the drivability of the car, with the DeLorean time machine, I don't know that it's really that bad. I've been in them before, driving around. They don't handle as great as a stock car, but it really isn't that bad. So we're at 75,555 for a DeLorean time machine conversion. You got 5 minutes left. And I wanted to get a hold of my buddy Chris Miles. And looks like he's driving to work right now. And he may not be available for comment on this car here. I really probably should have gotten my buddy Martin Sanchez on the line here. Or Lenny. I didn't think about that until just now. If this doesn't sell for $88,000, I will be thoroughly disappointed. Right? Now that's a good price, or 88,888, right? Or 121,000. That would be appropriate for a DeLorean time machine, just based on the pricing that we've seen before. But again, the subject of this video is, are DeLorean prices dropping? And that would go for time machines as well, because a time machine build itself, just the build, right? Depending on the availability of the props and stuff like that, it should be pretty steady. I don't think that has gone up. Completed cars, I mean, that's just going to be what it is, right? But if you had a DeLorean and you took it to Video Bob or DMC California or any of the other builders out there, I would imagine they're fairly the same in pricing. I don't know the differences, but it can't be that different. I would imagine that the cost to do that has been relatively the same. I've heard it's about $50,000 or so to have that done, right? And it's labor, and these guys that have been doing time machines, they have the process down, so they know exactly what they're doing. The prop replica builders out there, they're still building their props, and there doesn't seem to be a shortage of that. And these builders, they've got their connections, they've got their prop suppliers that they partner up with to get a good supply of those parts. There may be a part that's, unavailable, and maybe that just means the build takes a little bit longer because you're waiting for it, or maybe they have to source it from somewhere else. I know some of the prop parts are not as easy to find as other prop parts. But, for the most part, if you were to go to Danny Buck and, hey, I got a DeLorean here, hook me up, I mean, he should be able to do that, and it should not cost any more than it did a few years ago, I would think. But, of course, I don't know. It's the cost and the pricing of the DeLorean that has really affected the ability for you to get a time machine for a reasonable amount of money, because you got to get that DeLorean first, right? And the prices on the DeLorean have been dropping, which that could be very well be the case here, or at least softening. That could open up the door to getting a time machine for a little bit less than $150,000, which is kind of what you see completed cars been going for, right? And I think builders who acquire DeLoreans and build their time machines have a right to ask for a lot more, because it probably costs them a lot more to get that DeLorean, or just the value of the DeLorean itself, right? I mean, if DeLoreans are selling for stock DeLoreans for 70, 80, 90, 100,000, and you tack on another 50 or so for the time machine build, that's, putting you around 150, which is kind of what we've been seeing these cars go for. Here on Bring a Trailer, at least. eBay is another source, but there's been cars. I think the last car on eBay sold for $56,350 stock DeLorean. I took a look at that, and this listing seemed pretty sketch to me. I mean, there's only a handful of photos here, and I was reading the description here, and there's just not a lot of information here. I would have bid cautiously on this one. Who knows what you're getting yourself into? with just this limited amount of information here. Obviously, it's through eBay, so there's, less risk than buying it on like Craigslist or something, right? I would always recommend avoiding Craigslist if you can, unless you can go and see the car in person. That is definitely something you should avoid. eBay, it'd be cool if it was local. I actually found my car on eBay 4 years ago. So I found it on eBay, and I wasn't about to bid on it unless it was local. And fortunately, it was local. I did not bid on it. What I ended up doing was I intercepted the car while it was still under reserve, and I was able to go directly to the seller and make a deal in person. He pulled the auction. After that, I got a really great deal on the DeLorean Tech car. Of course, that was 4 years ago, before prices started to really skyrocket. So you can't really, I can't really use that as a comparing factor here. But this one here in September sold for $45,000. I don't know if that was a project car. Maybe it was. Where are we at on this thing here? 81.5 ends in 1 minute. So let's see what happens with this modified 19. Well, we're at 85,000 even now. Now we gotta get it to at least 88,000 here. At least 88,000, and so I'm just typing in the comments here in the chat. So we've got a little bit of a bidding war going on here. We're at 85,555, and we've got. Let's take a look at who's bidding on this. Alrighty here. It's always fun to kind of see who's bidding on these cars. Okay, so this guy, Moto Exotic, is he's bidding on a few other cars as well. Listings. So he's got some listings here. Bids. He's won quite a few cars here. Oh, look at that. There you go. So he won this. This is a few years ago. This was back in 2018. So he has one of the blue VW buses that were in Back to the Future. That was in Back to the Future Part 1. That's kind of neat. If he still has that, maybe he wants a time machine to sort of complete his collection there. That's interesting. Looks like we got a few bidders going for this car here. The only way I see it right now is if you buy this. Let's see here. Still low, relatively speaking, of the value of these in the future. Well, I guess we're going to find out. I guess part of our question of whether or not DeLorean prices are dropping really is a direct result of what happens in this auction, because not too long ago we're seeing a DeLorean time machine going for over 150,000, 95,000, so it shot up quite a bit here in the last few moments of this auction. So are we going to see over $100,000 for this DeLorean time machine? Nice bid. King line. Let's see who this guy is. Not a whole lot of stuff going on here. So whenever I see this, somebody who just joined in October, he's got 4 bids and they were all in the same one. I raise an eyebrow. Okay, take that as you will. And So this guy here, Moto Exotic, he really wants it. Kingline is raising the bar. He went up quite a bit here. This other guy here, Striker. Let's see what Striker's got going on here. So he's bid on this last DeLorean here. He didn't get it though, I don't think. Yeah, he only bid it up to 48,000. That went for 70. He's only bid on cars. He hasn't won. Well, let's see. He hasn't won anything. So he bid on a Viper, a couple Vipers, actually a lot of 3 Vipers and 2 DeLoreans. Okay. Moto Exotic still wants the car. He's at 95,555. This Kingline though that came in. Every time I see something like that, you know, I don't know. Just joined this month, no history, and bidding 95,000 on this thing here. So we're at 95,555. Kingline, let's see if, so he bid 85, 81. Oh, we're at 96.1. Is that Kingline again? Well, let's find out. No, Striker. Striker is also in the running on this car. I forgot to see how you can just look at the bids. So Kingline actually this morning bid up to $60,500. Let's see what else we got going on here. So I think if we look at his profile, it would show how many bids. So he's got 4 bids on the car. So that just takes you to the car there. I can't see how many bids or what bids we've got here, but it looks like it might have all been this morning in the final moments of the auction. 95,000. So Moto Exotics at 96,666 currently, with just over a minute to go. So Kingline has bid only in the last few moments here this morning, with no history and just joined in October. So curious about that. I'm not suggesting anything, but you know, it is what it is. But anyway, DeLorean vehicles would have faded away altogether. I don't think so. There are multiple flaws with this premise. I would agree. I don't know. I can only imagine he's probably talking about the movie. If it hadn't been for Back to the Future, would the DeLorean vehicle have just literally faded away altogether? I don't know. You never know, right? I mean, if Back to the Future hadn't used the DeLorean, another movie might have. You never know, right? Or it would have become famous in some other way. You don't know. But the car was pretty famous, quote unquote, before Back to the Future. More than likely due to all the drama with the DeLorean company, right? All that stuff that happened, that unfortunately happened to John DeLorean. That sort of made it infamous, but I think Back to the Future definitely helped the popularity of the car, because the car as it stands is cool. The reason why they used the DeLorean in Back to the Future because it was an awesome car. You know, it's been compared to the Bricklin. You know, the Bricklin, I guess it's the SV1 or whatever they call it. You know, that car definitely faded into obscurity, right? It really, nobody even really knows what a Bricklin is unless maybe if you're familiar with the DeLorean, you might know what a Bricklin is. That car, only 2,000 or so were made. It was never made famous, I guess you could say, by anything. But if you look at the car, it doesn't look that cool. I mean, not nearly as cool as the DeLorean. I mean, if it wasn't for the gull-wing doors, nobody would be talking about that car. I think it's the gull-wing doors that kind of make it cooler than it definitely would have been without the gull-wing doors. But it's just not the kind of car that really attracts a lot of attention. It almost looks kind of odd to me. Anyway, I don't want to bag on Bricklands out there, but that's just my own personal opinion. I respect Brickland owners, definitely. You guys are a great community. I'm just more of a DeLorean, guys. That is what it is. And when you look at the DeLorean, we're at 101,005 for this time machine, quite a bit lower than what the last one took on Bring a Trailer here. And we can go to that. If we just go to DeLorean. So, past auctions have seen DeLorean time machines. It's been a while. The last one that sold here on Bring a Trailer, geez, was it really back in December of 2021? Wow, almost a year ago. So they definitely don't come up for auction that often. You don't really see them for sale that much. It's just not common. There just really aren't that many out there. I think the estimate last time I read something was like 200 or so converted DeLoreans. Now, does that mean it's worth more because of that? Well, if you want a time machine and you can get one for, a good price, and if you do the math, right, more power to you, right? If you can save money buying a completed car, I feel like some of these guys paid a premium. This one here took $159,000, and I honestly don't remember who the builder was on this one. Looks like they photographed it. This might have been photographed out of DMC, Florida. Yeah. Looks like it was sold by DMC Florida, so that means something. I think it may have been a Bruce car, Bruce Coulomb. I think he's out of Florida, but I don't know. This was a pretty clean example though for 159, as you can see. I don't remember if it actually said who did it, but more than likely it was probably Bruce Coulomb who did the conversion here. I'm just saying that because he's out of Florida as well. Anyway, so there's another time machine as well. That went on Bring Trailer, but let's find out if we have finally sold here. Sold for 1015. So it just went just over 100,000. 101.5 for this DeLorean. So let's see what we got here. And that's quite a bit lower than what the last time machine sold for about, 10 months ago, whatever it was. So the question continues, are DeLorean prices going down? Well, based on what we're seeing right now, and we went through the photos, he didn't have a driving video. Okay? Did not have a driving video. And I'm gonna be so bold as to actually post this in here. I definitely think that if he had posted a driving video of the car, that would have helped fetch a bit more, because people want driving cars. They don't want the mystery. Hey, does it actually run? Okay, because that's a very expensive thing to get the car to run, unless you're going to do all the work yourself. And, most of the guys out there buying the car aren't going to do the work themselves. I didn't do the work myself right off the bat. I wasn't familiar with the car that much, right, in terms of all the internals, the motors of the car, the electrical systems, all that, right? It took time, I took time to get up to speed. I knew other cars. I'm a car guy, right? But I had to learn the car just like everybody else. The PRV, the mechanical fuel injection, the crazy sort of substandard electrical system of this car. It's not like working on other cars. Okay. there's a lot of little things about the car that really not just everybody, can just tackle right off the bat. So I said my piece on this one. I think if you had posted a driving video, assuming the car actually drives, if it runs, I mean, he talked about starting it up. He went through the instructions on how to start the car, but he didn't actually show you how to start it up. So that just screams this car doesn't run to me. Okay, that would be my own personal opinion, my own personal reaction as far as this car, and not seeing a driving video, or at least a startup video, right? I mean, he wants to get what these cars would have typically have gotten, so which is north of $150,000. Then post the video, or at least say, hey, it doesn't run. Of course, if he had said that, he may not have gotten 100,000. So there's that mystery. Maybe you're hoping the car will run. Does he actually say it runs and drives? I don't know. I don't think he did here. He did say it was in great condition. It was maintained, all that kind of stuff. Modified under previous ownership, so the seller wasn't the one who modified it. I don't remember if he said he acquired it recently. He just says that it was modified under previous ownership here. Custom fabricated exterior components, yada yada yada. 23,000 miles, Canada. A little history of the car in general. There's not a lot of information on this car here. A lot less, even less than some stock DeLoreans. So, and then he came out and said, after I asked for the driving video, he did say that, Kingline. So Kingline was the one we talked about earlier, literally just registered for Bring a Trailer this month and won the auction. So I don't know who that is. It would be interesting to see. So Kingline, if you're watching this video, please contact DeLorean Tech. I want to get your opinion after you get this car. I want to know, is it running good? Let us know. And maybe I could post that in the I will be in contact with you shortly. Join the DeLorean Time Machine Builders on Facebook. Yeah, join the DeLorean Time Machine Builders on Facebook. Absolutely. I'm a member of that group. It's a great group. And let us know about your new time machine. Was it everything you hoped for? If this was a running car and it ran great, which I don't think it said that here in anywhere in the auction. There's no driving video. But if it did, and he got it for 1,015, that's a good deal. Because, these time machines, the conversion itself is north of $50,000. And a good running DeLorean, at least according to the last auction, about $70,000 now, right? Driving videos on the last one, plenty of photos. If you're going to do sight unseen, you got to have a driving video. Especially if they are not putting down that is a non-running or a project car. If they're not saying that, they don't have a driving video, that's a huge red flag. And you need to either proceed with extreme caution or reach out to the seller and say, hey, I want a driving video. I will pay you for a driving video. I'll give you $50. Okay, money well spent. I actually spent money in my search for a good DeLorean. I spent money to gain more knowledge about the car. And that was money well spent. Sometimes you just have to do what you have to do. And I wasn't going to get into a car that was going to cause problems. Of course, back then, pricing was nowhere near as high as it was, as high as it is today. Can't talk. Anyway, back then, prices were $40,000 or so on the high end. $40,000 I thought was high back then. This was only 4 plus years ago. And when I got my car for 28, right, I thought that was a great deal. I didn't want to pay more than 30. 30 was like that threshold I didn't want to cross. There was no way I was going to pay more than 30,000 for the car. I remember they wanted 38 or something, I think is what it might have been. There was a reserve on the car. I can't remember what the bidding was. I think it was at 15,000 or so when I contacted the seller, and then he pulled the auction. There was still some time on an eBay auction, but fortunately I was able to make a good deal on it. It was not a low miles car. It was 91,000, but I was looking for a high mileage DeLorean that had been driven and had been, maintained, and all the little kinks were all worked out. And the car I got, the DeLorean type car, I bought it from the original owner, who was a concours competitor, and she was in the DeLorean show circuit, winning trophies, winning first place, kept the car in pristine condition. It was serviced and maintained by DeLorean 1, the notorious DeLorean 1, who arguably, they did a great job maintaining cars. They were very selective of which cars they would take, but that one, fortunately, was maintained meticulously by the owner. Every little problem was always sort of identified and worked out, but they spent money maintaining that car. And it definitely showed. I was more than happy to buy a 91,000 mile DeLorean. I did show up, test drive the car. It drove great. Had no problems. It was a no-brainer, and I was just very excited that I was able to land a good deal. 4 years later, we're looking at 100,000. But are we looking at 100,000? 70,000 for the last one. We have another one. Going up that is currently up for auction right now. This one here. This one ends in 4 days. It's currently sitting at $26,250, and we will do another live stream in 4 days, this coming Saturday, on this particular car right here. So let's take a look at this car. It's just in advance of the live stream. It's got 5,000, so it is a low miles car. Not extremely low, but 5,000 is what I would consider to be very low miles for a 40-year-old car. So that, right off the bat, that tells me a couple of things. It probably sat for a long time, because think about it. I mean, 5,000 miles in only 40 years, that's almost nothing, right? So the car sat, for sure. And for how long did it sit? Do they tell you that in the listing here? Usually they don't. It's just unfortunate. I would ask the question. A lot of the information doesn't get volunteered, right? How long did it sit for? A lot of the owners of these cars, the current owners, don't know. They know they bought the car and they didn't really have a good history on it. Now they're selling it again, and they just don't know, right? You can always run the Carfax and kind of get an idea of, like, with the history with the smog and the mileage and all this kind of stuff. Any damage? It doesn't look like there's any damage to the car. Of course, 5,000 miles, probably wasn't driven a whole lot. He has some driving videos, though. So you definitely want to look at those, right? So this is the car, and it's driving around. And the speedo works, and he's got the fuel sender doesn't work, so unfortunately, can't tell how much gas is in the tank. It's all the way down below zero. So he's driving the car around, and this is a little 42-second video here on the car being driven. So at least you got that. At least you know the car runs and drives. I didn't hear anything odd out of that one. So let's check out drive number 2. So we've got multiple driving videos, which that's always a good thing, right? And he's showing how the car shifts. And it shifts as expected. What else we got here? Another driving video. that creaking you hear, that's probably the steering or the doors or the dash or something. That's pretty common with these 40-year-old cars. It's got an engine run video. Oh, he's changed the fuel lines. And he's got a stainless steel bottle. Okay, so it's got a little video there of the engine starting up or running. Here's another one. Those look like the DPI fuel lines. That's almost the same ones that I have, but I don't know for sure. Yeah, it seems to run okay. These are short videos, but hey, at least it's something, right? You've got 3 driving videos and 2 engine running videos, so at least you can make an informed decision before you bid on this. Who knows how much this will go for? You know, with the last car at $70,000, we're looking at maybe prices dropping a bit. That was kind of a surprise. This Time Machine went for just over $100,000. That's another drop in what we've seen Time Machines go for. And Time Machine hasn't been up for auction, at least on Bring a Trailer, for a while now. So I would have expected that to go for more. Of course, you know, there's a couple things that were going against that one. We didn't really know who the builder was. I mean, I didn't know who it was. You know, it wasn't someone familiar to me. And then he didn't have a driving video, which I think with the DeLorean, you need to have that now. There's really no excuse. And if you don't have a driving video of the car, you may as well just say it doesn't run. Because, I mean, you know, or doesn't drive. Because you could command so much more if you had that. Right? Let's see what else we got going on with this one here. It's got Avos on it, looks like. It's got quite a few videos going on. If you are looking to maybe bid on this car and you want to know more about it, you can reach out to the seller, this guy Brian here. Might be able to answer your questions. The AC does not blow cold. It's very easy and not too expensive to recharge the car, so that's not a big deal. Fuel sending unit is flaky. We saw that in the driving video. Those are, you know, again, that's not a very expensive fix. Passenger side window does not work. Well, that just means the motor probably doesn't work. I've included a new DMC window regulator. Those can be replaced. That's not that easy to do, but it's not like super expensive. I've seen Chris Miles actually do 2 in one day. So, and they were on, I believe they're on Time Machines, if I remember correctly. Anyway, the car has never failed to start, but the first start over a while, you do sometimes have to crank it more than once. That's pretty common with the car. I know if I let my car sit closing on 2 weeks, and I try to avoid that, sometimes it takes a little to get it going after sitting for a little while. So that's pretty common with these cars, because after it starts, it runs like a new car practically. Well, that's saying a lot right there. No smoke. I hope there's no smoke. And very smooth idle once warmed up. Okay, I will post another comment with the write-up of the car when I went through Mecum about 10 years ago, in case anyone is interested. Okay. So it looks like there was another, it was auction, he bought it from an auction about 10 years ago maybe. So it's a 5,000 mile DeLorean. I mean, it looks pretty good. I like the stance. Definitely looks pretty good, but we'll talk more about this on Saturday, and we will continue to ask the question, are DeLorean prices dropping? As of right now, I'm going to say yes, because that last Time Machine, this one that went today, only took 101,000. 101.5. So of course, you know, without the driving video, you get a lot of photos of the car. Without that driving video, that makes a big difference, though. You know, like that, I honestly think that impacted the price. Of course, I don't know. I don't remember if, DMC Florida, if they're selling a time machine, it would be easy to find out if that car runs. You can just pick up the phone and ask them. Maybe ask them to send you a video. And they may have posted a video, I don't know. But this car looks pretty okay to me. They've got it in a parking garage. So maybe they drove it there. Maybe they drove to get it there. I don't know. But man, it would have been nice to see. Why not just film, the car driving around the parking garage? Why not just do that and post it here? They probably would have gotten another 50,000 if they had done that. I don't know. Maybe. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. Could this time machine have commanded more final price if they had shown a driving video or given more information about how the car actually runs? The DeLoreans being as expensive as they are today, running cars, would that make a big enough difference with this option? So let me know, and we will continue our video series, our 2-part video series here. Who knows, maybe it'll become a 3-part. If another car goes up for auction here on Bring a Trailer, we will continue to part 2 this coming Saturday. So once again, thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you then.